feel like we've had good opportunity to work in the red area here in training camp as kind of a continuation of our spring installation, and so we'll kind of wind things up here today, and then move into some other situations next week, and have a couple padded practices next week, and into the following week prior to playing Washington. So, hopefully we can, just continue to make gains every day, string good days together, and keep improving. As I said, we all have a lot of work to do, and we spent quite a bit of time on other situations, so the time to dedicate to the red area has been, I think, beneficial. But there's certainly a lot of other things we have to work on and improve as well. So that'll really start happening next week. And but in the meantime, like I said, just trying to string some positive days together, build on what we did yesterday, move into some things that are a little bit new, different, higher degree of difficulty, correct those, and just keep moving on. All right.
First question will be Ian Still, followed by Phil Perry.
Morning, Bill. How are you?
Hi, Ian. Good.
Good. We heard from the quarterbacks yesterday, and it seems like, they're all kind of helping each other along. Max said that Cam's helping him along as he gets used to NFL football. What have you seen from the camaraderie in the quarterback room so far?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's really been like that on the whole team. We have a lot of veteran players that are helping younger guys. We don't have very many rookies on the roster, but we have quite a few second-year players. So, no, I think the overall information flow and communication and cooperation has been good in the position groups, and also from one side of the ball to the other as they work against each other. So, I think everybody's trying to do a good job in that area.
Next question, Phil Perry, followed by Ben Bowman.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Good, Phil. How you doing?
Good, thanks. When it comes to the red zone passing game, like you mentioned, looks like you guys have been working on that quite a bit the first few practices. How beneficial can that specific situation be to the quarterback pass catcher relationship? Just it being sort of tighter down there, and maybe trying to get a read on how a guy uses his body or where he likes the football or that kind of thing, can, especially early in camp, can that specific situation help those positions make gains as far as their relationship on the field?
Right. Well, I'd say that's really the overall idea in the consecutive days in the red areas for teammates to work together on whichever side of the ball it is, and everything happens in a lot shorter space. It happens faster, and the decision making has to be quicker and more precise, as does the execution on both sides of the ball. So I think we've had a lot of good situations where coaches and ultimately players and teammates have talked to each other, and things like you've said about what I'm anticipating, what you're going to do, how we're going to handle this formation, where I am, so you can be a little overplayed a little bit more somewhere else, because that I'll be right here to help you in a certain location and so forth. So there's been a lot of that, and it's a good thing. And we've run 4 days after today worth of plays and situations and all that, where you can really see those things improving, and also knowing that it's going to continue to get harder. that we're on both sides of the ball. I think preparing for, kind of the next level of degree of difficulty and adjustments and so forth. So, coaches have done a good job of that, of making the players aware of those things and what could happen, and what you see here. That's one thing, but there are a number of other things that could come off of this that we have to be ready for, and the accumulation of multiple days, I think has helped us absorb that, versus doing a couple plays every day. I mean, that has its benefits too, but we've really been able to focus on a particular area and concepts, and as you said, the player-to-player communication and anticipation, has been good. So it's been very beneficial.
Thank you.
Next question, Ben Volen, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Ben.
It's been a while in these parts since there's been kind of an open competition at quarterback. I'm just curious, what are the things you're looking for to help you make your decision?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll take a look at the whole situation. I don't think you want to evaluate players at any position, off of one or two plays or maybe a day. So, from a consistency standpoint, that's always important, and obviously production. So, hopefully those things will be good, and I'm sure it'll be a hard decision. But we'll see how it goes. Just let them play and try to do what we feel like's best for the team, based on their performance.
Do you have an ideal time frame for naming a starter to help you get ready for the season?
No. Well, I mean, Cam's our starting quarterback. I think I've said that. So.
That seems a little different from the other day, because you said the other day everyone starts from scratch. But so it's
Well,
Cam still
that's right. Everyone does start from scratch, and again, we all have to reestablish ourselves, and that goes for a lot of other players that you could name as well. That I'm sure in your mind you think they're starters, and maybe they are starters, and they probably will be starters, but they all have to reestablish their positions. So that's across the board for the whole team. Doesn't just pertain to one position.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Chris Ryan.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Andrew.
You mentioned winding things up today at practice. What are some of the different things that we can expect to see out there in the field in about an hour?
Just continuing to put things together, situations, and more of progressive football, first down, second down, third down, field position changing, that type of thing. We've segmented some of those by for teaching purposes, where we're in the low red area or the high red area, or third down, or blitz periods, and so forth, things like that, which are good teaching progressions. It's good to have those plays and be able to learn from them, but that's not football. You don't have 8 third downs in a row in football, but from a teaching standpoint, there's some benefit to doing it that way. Again, the further down the road you get, then the more, when the team is ready for it, when they're ready for it, then I think you have to start moving into progressive situations that change on every play like the game does. So that's what we'll do.
And then secondly, I know 2.5, 3 years is a long time, but besides his position change from playing left tackle here in 2018 and now being more right tackle, how have you seen Trent Brown change as a player and then also remain the same guy who you had here back in 2018?
Yeah, I think Trent's experience has given him a good, much higher level of leadership, communication, and he's just able to do more, both on and off the field. Has a lot more experience. Has more experience in our system, which is that's a big factor. He didn't have that in 2018, and we haven't changed things a lot. I think he's comfortable with all the the communication and the techniques and adjustments and so forth. That wasn't the case at the beginning of the 2018, nor would you expect it to be for any player that's new to our program. So he's way ahead of where he was, and that maturity and experience has manifested itself in positive leadership and I would say insight for other players. He's been with 3 organizations, and he has a good perspective on a lot of things, especially the New England Patriots. So yeah, he's becoming a very experienced and well respected, not just for his physical talent, but for all the other things that he does. It's just something he gained over the course of the 18 season, but he's starting from a much higher point now.
2 final questions. Chris Ryan to Mike Reese.
Morning, Bill. How are you?
Hey, Chris. Good. How's it going?
Good. 2, if I can. Just on Cam again, outside of injury, he is your starting quarterback, correct?
Yeah, I just answered that question.
Okay. And the second one is how do you go about building out training camp? Is it consistent from year to year, or do you change your points of emphasis early on and throughout the course of the process based upon your personnel circumstances? How do you like to build it out?
Well, first of all, you have to look at the opportunities that you have and then try to maximize those. So training camp rules and opportunities and schedules and so forth are much different than what they were last year. Last year they were much different than what they were before. So some of that is, there's a number of factors involved here, a new CBA, COVID pandemic, and then just the overall makeup of your team. The spring change, so the spring changes a little bit of training camp, how that goes, and so forth. So, you map out what your opportunities are to practice, and again, some of that's based on where you ended the spring. I mean, you just can't start at a point that you haven't climbed to through the spring. So you have to, at some point, build off of where you finished the spring. I mean, you can't expect the players to, cross a gap that you haven't taken time to bridge. So each year is a little bit different. Each situation is a little bit different. The calendars are different. The preseason schedule is different. It's certainly a lot different than what it was last year. So, I mean, I don't think there's necessarily a cookie cutter way to do things. At the same time, there is a certain progression. I mean, you have to start somewhere and you have to build forward. But there's so many different areas of the game that it doesn't always have to be in the exact same place, and sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So I'd say each year has some similarities to previous years, but each year certainly has, I would say, differences and probably significant differences in the structure and the installation, and a lot of times the actual practice schedule itself.
Last question, Mike Reese.
Hey, Bill, how are you enjoying this cool, crisp fall weather?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no control over that. So let's head out there and try to make the most of our practice opportunities, whatever it is.
With Cam, how much, if at all, are you noticing a difference in his arm strength?
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I don't think we've been outside the 30-yard line. So, just in terms of long balls and all that. I mean, we've thrown a few in individual route periods and a couple of offensive periods just to, install some things. But, yeah, look, we'll see how everybody performs as we go forward. And, again, judging guys off 1 or 2 days or a handful of throws. Again, there have been a couple of downfield throws. Again, most of those were in offensive periods, so they were kind of set up that way. But we'll see how everybody does when we get a chance to level out the competition between the offense and the defense, and they're playing real football. So his arm looks fine. Everybody looks fine. It looks like all the quarterbacks can throw the ball. I don't really see any major problems.
And Bill, is there anything you can share on Anthony Jennings? Just in that I don't think he's been out on the field, but I don't believe he's on any of the reserve lists.
Yeah, that's correct. He's not on a reserve list. Yeah, he's been excused for personal reasons, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
When did Bud Light Seltzer start making lemonade?
Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
Opponents? I've gone up against thousands.
And there's an opponent we're all up against, COVID-19.
But there's a way to beat it. Get vaccinated.
So when it's your turn, roll up your sleeves.
And let's get to the finish line together.